We are live today on the 28th of January, 2026. It is cold where I am, so I'm trying not to think about that. But we have a special guest today. But first, before I introduce him, I am going to say hi to my co-host, Marcia, who's in a lovely weather right now. So,
Well, relatively speaking, yes. I'm in Northeast Florida, and even though it's around 50 degrees, which is cold for here, can't complain at all. And I still have my Happy New Year up. I got 3 more days for Happy
3
New
more
Year.
days, and then it's gone,
That's
and it'll
right.
be something fun and new, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would like, well, before I do this, I'm going to ask people in the chat room to do me a huge, huge, huge favor. If you can and you're not offended, please limit your comments in the chat room to questions for Mark, because we have 5 different chat rooms coming to us. You can only see the one that you're in. You do not see the other ones. So you have no idea sometimes what I have to deal with. And if you'd like your questions to be posted and Mark answer them, please, please try to adhere to that. I would appreciate it greatly. But as I said, Mark is with us, Mark
Yay.
Pontarelli, and we are just going to go storming in right now. Mark, I'm going to go ahead and ask the silly question that I ask most of our vertical guests that we have on. Well, a couple of them. I'll do the preliminary ones so Marcia can't do them.
Great.
Yeah. How many verticals have you done approximately, or do you know an exact number?
I do believe I'm at an approximate, at this point, anywhere between 35 to 40 verticals.
I was thinking 30, so that's more than I thought. Okay.
Yeah, and it's somewhere between that number at this point. Yeah.
That's a good number.
It's not bad. It's pretty high in for what I was expecting. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just so you said that, how did you find out about verticals? Friend or stumbled or?
Yeah, so I started when I first moved out to California. I started doing these commercials that were just like half the day kind of thing, and they were for a more like Eastern market, and so I was doing that for a little bit, and then some of the producers that I really got along with, and the ones that I really enjoyed working with as well, they kind of were like, hey, we're starting to do these. Like vertical like dramas, and they're like soap operas for your phone, and like, do you want to audition for them? And I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. Yeah, and so I auditioned, and I started doing the villain roles, and so like the bad guys supporting roles, and then that kind of transitioned into more and more projects, and it was the snowstorm or the snowball effect. That's kind of how it happened.
That's pretty good. Now, after you did the first one and you were kind of shocked being on set, and then you had to come home and tell friends or family, and they gave you funny looks when you told them what you were doing, how did you try to explain it to them? Or did you just give up and move on?
To be honest, most of my friends and family have not been surprised by the verticals that I do.
Really?
I grew up. I've done theater and stage for about 20 years. And this was prior to me going into the film industry. So I had always done these larger than life kind of extravagant, wacky characters. And so when I started doing these, they were kind of like, oh yeah, totally. Like Mark
doing the same thing you've been doing. What's the big deal?
Mark has been doing some drama. He's doing some fun projects and things like that. So it wasn't too much of a shock for them. I think the nature of the verticals is more so what is making everyone be like, oh, Mark, this is some spicy stuff. This is some fun. So it's a lot more lighthearted. And I'm so grateful that my family and my friends are so supportive of that, because they know me, and they know that all this is just fun, and it's just we're trying to have the best time that we can and tell fun stories and things like that. Yeah.
Now, what do you prefer, the villain, or would you? do you like variety, or would you rather play the lead, or doesn't it really matter to you? Does it depend on the script or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it doesn't matter. I think what I'm drawn to are complicated characters. I think that it's a lot of fun to play someone who, if like the villain does have like a really cool backstory and has like a really fun, super objective
Mhm.
within the script and things like that. I think that's always really fun to play. Characters where it can, because yeah, sorry, so it can be really fun to play characters who have like a clear through line, and like this is what they want and they're going to go after it no matter what. It's really fun to kind of dive into those characters, whether they be villains or leads. So I think, I don't know, I mean, I get asked that question a lot. I do think that there is something a little bit more inherently fun about playing villains because you get to be so much larger than life in so many other ways. But the leads are a lot of fun too. I've gotten to play some really exciting and really fun leads. So not really sure. Not really sure there's a clear cut winner.
There you go. There you go. Now I'm going to go to Marcia now, and then after when Marcia gives it back to me, I'm going to go to the chat room and go in there and pull some questions up from our viewers. So Marcia, go right ahead.
Yeah, hi Mark.
Hi.
It's so much fun to delve into the lives of the people that come on our show, and you are a super fun, eclectic kind of person. I
Oh,
mean, you,
gosh,
some of
thank
your
you.
projects just make me smile. I, I almost don't know where to start, but I'd like to jump into the Wayback Machine.
Mm,
So I'm gonna
sure.
put it's not gonna be that far back, or maybe it is,
Okay.
but because you talked about your work as a on the stage when you were
Mm,
a
yeah.
young kid, and one of them was a Nutcracker. Now,
Yeah.
was that the ballet or was it straight? How, tell me about that.
Yeah, so that was really cool because my younger sister, she is a professional dancer. So she was she did ballet, she did like all hip hop, like all this professional dancing. But when we were kids, she was doing ballet, and I was starting to get like really into like theater and like really take an interest in that. And my sister was one of the ballerinas in the Nutcracker Ballet. Now this was a just like a local play that it was going on, and so I auditioned for it, and then so her and I both got into the Nutcracker, and then that's how I met my all time best friend. So him and I have been friends since we were both like in fourth or fifth grade.
Oh.
Yeah, and so that was one of the first experiences that I've had on the stage was doing the Nutcracker Ballet. Now, keep in mind, I wasn't necessarily doing ballet. There were a lot of like random characters that you could
Mhm.
do in the Nutcracker that
Yeah,
didn't require dancing. It more required like fun, creepy movements. Like I
like
played,
the mice, the king. Yeah.
yeah, I played a rat, like a mouse, like this like creature mouse guy.
Hmm.
And I had to like have like a snout and like crawl on all fours. And you know, when you're a 10-year-old boy, you know, you love playing pretend and you love doing all that kind of stuff. So it was actually really fun. It was a really fun time. Yeah.
Hmm. And then eventually you have a BFA,
Hmm.
correct?
Yes, I graduated with a Bachelor of the Fine Arts in acting theater performance from the University of Illinois Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved having that program under my belt. I think it really helped me grow as an actor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of grow as an actor, this is a little bit of a stretch, but one of the things I love to see, you are a stealth walker. Now,
Yeah.
one does not just go, I'm going to be a stealth walker. Okay, share with us.
To be honest, it is kind of one of those things where I just kind of decided, all right, yeah, I'll give this a shot. I worked at theme parks for like on and off, but for like anywhere between like 5 to 7 years. And I got to travel all over the world and perform and do live theater for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, which was amazing. During that time, they were having like these internal trainings where you would learn like specialized skill sets for these theatrical performances. And one of them was stilt walking. Now, if you were to ask the general like pool of performers that we had, a lot of them were like, "Oh, absolutely not. This is a massive apparatus. Like this looks unsafe." But I was kind of like, "Sure, like I'll give it a shot." Yeah, and so I kind of learned it, and then I've been doing it ever since. Like I still walk whenever I get the chance to, and it's a weird skill, but I love it. I love it so much.
And the video pieces that I've seen, you have this light, there are lights on it, and you are really grooving. I mean, you don't just walk around like Frankenstein, you dance.
Yeah, yeah, that's it's one of the things that they taught us during our training, like way back in the day when I was trained, was you don't just want to be able to learn how to just walk on these stilts. Like we want you to be able to move, dance, be agile, be quick on your feet, kind of thing. So that way, when you are doing these theatrical performances, it's not just, oh, you're this larger than life character, literally larger than life, but you're also doing it to the rhythm of the music and um, being incorporated into the story that they were telling with the show or the parade or anything like that. So we were required to not only walk but be able to like run, skip, jump, dance, like all that cool stuff.
So I'm thinking you can dance off the stilts too. Would you say that?
Yeah, I can. I'm not. I like I said, I'm not a trained dancer like my sister is, but
Mhm,
I definitely I've appreciated musicals and dancing my whole life, and I
mhm,
performed in a lot of musicals as well. So all of that kind of did give me like it's more of like an exposure thing. That you're around it so much, eventually you pick things up, you know.
mhm.
So I kind of circumstantially learned how to dance and groove, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I'm going to move and groove from the stilt
yeah,
walking to the mascot kind of LA Clippers
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
madness there.
yeah. That was another strange happenstance. That was another thing that was through my sister's dancing career. She was a professional. She danced for the Chicago Bulls, which is the NBA team in Chicago, and so they were looking for people who would want to be a part of the mascot team. And so I was able to apply for that job, and so I worked with the mascot. I was not the mascot himself,
Mm-hmm.
but I worked with him for a while. And then that transitioned me when I moved out to California. They were like, oh, the LA Clippers need someone who's going to help out with the mascots. And so I was able to do
Like a
that as
wingman. I
well.
saw your
Yeah,
jersey.
yeah, literally, yeah. Because Chuck the Condor is the mascot for the LA Clippers, and he's a bird, so like he wants some wingman, like a wingman kind of thing. So it was cool. It was a fun time.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
brought back some memories for me. I've worked with the NFL with the Jacksonville Jaguars with
Wow.
I was head of their official fan organization for several
That's
years,
so cool.
and when they first started, their mascot Jackson DeVille became kind of a sense. So I know the insaneness that goes along.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's actually insane how you go to any professional sports game, and you don't really think about the entertainment that is in the game, because you're focused on the team and the game itself, right? But there's so much thought and energy and care that goes into the live entertainment aspect of any professional sports team. And it's incredibly underrated how hard they work. Like it's
Oh
it's
my gosh, they do. Oh.
really cool. Like it's very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been an honor to be a part of that family.
Mm. Well, thank you for helping bring the fun to
Yeah,
the sports arena,
yeah.
um, and I'm tempted to go ahead and dive into one of your verticals. But Michael, did you want to go first?
Yeah, let me do a question or two, and then just see what's rolling. Um, K Cruisin 66 has a question for you.
Okay.
Which of your series would you want a new fan to watch first, and why?
I think if I'm going to be honest about what I would want one of my fans to watch, I would want them to watch. It's an older one that I did, but it's still one of the most treasured ones in my heart. It's the Knight and the Influencer, which was on Alta TV. I played a medieval knight that was inside of a portrait, like a painting, and then I stepped out of the painting through magic, and then I stepped into the real world, and it was a very much a fish out of water storyline, which was always super fun. To be honest, the thing that is so unique about this that vertical for me was that it was so unique in general. There's not a lot of verticals that are like that. And it was so, not only was it such a unique story and an incredibly fun character for me to play, but the experience of filming itself was so fun. It was so much fun. We had a great director. We had a great crew. We had a great cast. Like everyone on that project was just so much fun to work with. And so it definitely goes down as like one of my all-time favorite experiences in filming one of these verticals for sure.
Well, that's good. And Rad Kavranova, I'm sorry I messed that up. And I said I love this one. Yeah. And let me go on from there. Any other ones of yours that stand out that you either had, you just love the crew, love the director, love the cast, reunited with the cast? Were there any other ones that stand out to you that
of course
it's just really there in the front of your brain that you remember?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many. My gosh.
Yeah, I'm expecting you to list about 25 to 30 with me right now. Yeah.
I mean, it's no real secret that Love and Blood was which is on Real Shorts. It was a very memorable experience for not only like us as a cast, but the crew and the fans that were so incredibly dedicated to following it, and we were so appreciative of the love that was shown to us with that project. I think that's going to be something that I'm definitely going to hold on to and treasure for a long time. I think it was just so amazing to do. When I worked with Fumero Films and Shorts app for the Billionaire Matchmaker, that was another project where everything kind of felt like it came together. We had the crew, we had the cast, we had we had everything. The script was great. Like everything about that project was so fun. And it created not only memories, but it created some of like the best friendships that I've had and some of the deepest respects for the artistry that everyone was able to do on that project too. That was really, really special for sure. Yeah.
Okay, this is from Ms. Christine H. What is the funniest moment you've had while being on set?
I think one of the top funniest moments that I've ever had was, and this is because I've done it a couple times, is working with Eric Gilmet. He's one of my good buddies, but he's also one of the easiest. He's easily one of the most silliest actors I've ever worked with, which I'm sure, I don't know if a lot of people know that, but getting him to laugh during takes is one of my goals, and I love making him break. And there's so many moments where him and I work together where we have to be very serious, and I make him crack and I make him break, and it's really, really fun. But yeah, he's such a great actor to work with. He's incredibly professional, and he's so awesome as a person. And but yeah, getting him when him and I are on set together, it can be dangerous. We end up taking a lot more time with certain scenes because I'm just making him laugh and I'm causing delays.
Someone has to, got to keep Eric in line,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's been on with us 3 times. So.
Yeah, he's a fun dude. He's a great guy.
He is. He is. Marsha, I'm going to go back to you.
Well, I should have just gone ahead and asked my question because the vertical I was going to dive into was the Knight and the Influencers.
Sure.
That worked perfectly
I could talk about that all day. Absolutely.
because, well, the armor that you
Hmm.
wore, what was that made of? It didn't. It looked maybe a little flexible, maybe not. Well,
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know exactly what it was made out of. All I know is that it was some sort of it was a very expensive suit that they ordered. And I don't really know what the material was, but it felt I don't think it was like iron like iron or anything like that. I don't
mhm,
think that I would have been able to like hold that like for hours on end. But it was definitely some sort of like metallic material. And it
mhm,
wasn't even necessarily. It really only was just like the shoulders, the shins, the front area. But then the rest was like you had like a black undergarment that kind of like sealed everything together.
mhm,
So it was, and the helmet itself was really heavy and unique. But yeah, it was just one of these suits that they ordered. They found. They said it was like almost impossible to find, but they found it like at the last second. And then putting that thing on was so cool. Like it was awesome. That was definitely one of the most badass things that I've ever done.
mhm.
It was really cool. So but yeah, did that answer your question?
Yes, it did because, well, I'm I don't know if you're the Society for Creative Anachronism is, they do medieval stuff and you adopt a persona when you go and you go
Mhm.
to events and people dress in
Yeah,
armor and things like that and do
yeah.
fighting and so immediately I thought I wonder what that felt like for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen like a lot of really cool cosplayers do stuff like that too. And so it gives me even more deeper respect for like what they do. Because I
Mhm.
know that they also find like very unique ways to make something look real, but it's
Yeah.
definitely like just foam or plastic or something like that. Like it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what
Mm-hmm.
they're able to do. Yeah.
Hmm. And I think that you're kind of a sci-fi nerd as well. So there's a character in that vertical called Nox, Nox.
Mm. Yeah.
And I don't know if you watch Stargate SG-1, but there's a race called the Nox, and
Okay.
so I made that little connection.
Nice.
But
No, unfortunately, I've never seen that, but that I'll add that to the list of the many things that I love watching.
yeah, but that and the accent that you used.
Yeah, yeah, that was a just it was actually interesting. When the casting had reached out to me, they were like they were a little nervous. They were like, "Do you know how to do like a British accent?" And I'd worked with these guys before, and I was like, yeah, I know how to do a British accent because I've with all the theater that I've done in the past, like there was at least a handful of roles where I've had to have a British accent,
Yeah. Yeah.
including the very first role that I ever did, which was I was like 12 years old and I had to play this little British homeless boy. It was in the show called Oliver Twist.
Oh
It was
yeah.
a musical. Yeah, it's a iconic musical. But again, it's very, very late centuries ago, kind of
Hmm.
Britain, and I had to have like a Cockney accent, and that was the first role that I ever did. So doing British was not completely out of my wheelhouse, which was I was very fortunate that I was able to kind of bring that out, which was fun. It was a fun time. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. And so having that in your arsenal and be able to put it all together made that character of Henry a lot more real
Mm.
and gave it depth.
No,
So
thank
it was
I
a super
appreciate that.
fun project to watch. So thank
I
you for your
appreciate that.
work in that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And, some of your other work, I
Mm.
saw a short that you did called Kitchen Spaces.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, but you play a host, and
Yeah.
you're hosting this married couple, and they're cooking Thanksgiving dinner, and
It's
it
killing
all
horses
goes
around.
downhill from
Yeah,
there.
yeah. That's it's so cool that you bring that up because with these verticals are so inherently dramatic, and they're so serious, and the scripts are heavy and everything. So it's so you to bring up, and not a lot of people in the vertical community know like how much of a strong background I have in comedy. So it's so it's even like it's a shocker to me to even like remember that kind of stuff. But yeah, that was back when I was in Chicago, and I was studying comedy. I was learning comedy. We had one of my friends. He built this script, and he built this world that we lived in, and it was so much fun. That was a really really fun show to do. Yeah.
And it is available to watch on Fossum
Hmm.
TV.
Yeah.
So it is probably, I think, about 10 minutes, I think. So
Yeah.
it's
Not very long.
definitely worth a watch.
Yeah.
The crystals will live in my brain for a while. And the interchange between the husband and the wife with you
Yeah.
kind of being the Greek chorus is really fun to watch.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun too. Especially, it's always fun when you get to play the character who's just reacting to things, not
Mhm.
necessarily driving the comedy of it. So that was a lot of fun for me to just kind of like sit back and be like, what is going on? Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to go back to Michael.
Okay, thank you, Marcia. Um, I'm going to go this one first. Aisha Kier asks, I noticed that you work for Disney, but have you ever thought about working for a Japanese anime studio voice acting?
Mm.
Mm.
Wow. So actually, yes. So I worked for Disney for a long time, and that was and not Disney's no longer in the picture for me, but I definitely I've always actually wanted to um, voice act. I think that it's always something that's been very alluring to me, and I think that and I've noticed more and more now that I've lived in California for a little bit now. I've noticed a lot of voice acting places and things like that, and
Mhm.
pockets and things, and especially with streaming, there's so many options for different kinds of content. So I short answer, yeah, I have considered it. I would love the opportunity to get to voice act. I don't know how, but I would love to do that. I would love to voice act. That'd be a lot of fun.
Okay, and let's see. And Cruisin66 asks, which scene from any series was your most challenging?
Mm,
And why?
most challenging. I most challenging. I think I'm gonna have to say it was one of the fight scenes that I did. It was for a werewolf project, and I was working with Casey Esser, and
Mm.
I was playing the villain, and that was with Short Zap. And so there was this it was this fun little culmination of things. So him and I had to engage into a fight scene, and there was this there was this part where he takes my head and then he has to put it through a wall because we're werewolves and it's like everything is super intense, right? But what I failed to communicate with the production for this particular day was that I had a small head injury. And so I was worried that like if something was going to hit my head, then like I was it, like I was going to be gone. But I didn't tell them that, so this wasn't on them, this was on me. This was my fault for not telling them this. So they bring out this like wall, like they made a wall, like they made it like out of like paper mache and something else. Now they made it with a material that was incredibly breakable. It was light as a feather. There was zero chance that I was going to get injured from this. But because I had just had this small head injury and I didn't tell anyone, I was internally freaking out, like freaking out. So when Casey, like, he's like, yeah, man, you got this, and I'm like, yeah, man, I got this. I'm like freaking out, thinking, oh my god, this is gonna be it for me. He puts my head through the wall. It was totally fine. It was all fake. There was no chance that I was gonna get injured in the first place. But it was only my own mental psyche that freaked me out so much in that for that one scene.
You
And
literally got in your head.
yeah, quite literally. And to be honest, the scene looked awesome, and everything was totally fine. But that for me, I psyched myself into that a little too harshly.
Well, I think I would have freaked myself out too for the same reason.
Yeah.
But man, and oh, here we go. I've got another one I have to try to pronounce. Radkavarnova 4681 would like to know, what role would you love to play? And I'm from anything.
Anything.
I'm going to say anything. She didn't, but I'm going to say anything.
Yeah. I think if I was to play any kind of role, I would just want it to. I would love to be like a main character on a sitcom. I think that would be just one of the biggest dreams of mine. It would just be to play a main character on a sitcom, because I think sitcoms, like really like hit sitcoms, have always, I grew up watching them. I've resonated with them so fondly. That's they hold a special place in my heart, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with an incredibly goofy family. Like, we're a very silly bunch of people, and so it really, like, the sitcom lifestyle very much adheres to my own personality. So I think that would be real, just like a dream come true. If I wasn't, then I would probably have to go with anything that involves fantasy or sci-fi, anything in the realm of Lord of the Rings, like Star Wars, like, yeah, that would be really cool. That would be another thing that I would
Awesome.
be so awesome. I would love that so much.
Would you like to be a dragon rider in House of the Dragon?
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even like in Star Wars, like, I'd be a Sith Lord, 100%. Sign me up. Like, I want the red lightsaber. I want, like, the dark powers. Like, yeah, definitely.
All right.
Do you follow all the new series that are on?
Yeah, I
Disney?
try to the best of my ability. It was definitely a lot easier to follow things when I was younger, but with the amount of stuff that they push out now, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's almost like homework. I'm like, oh, I gotta
Yeah.
catch up on all my stuff, but yeah, I try to the best of my ability.
Yeah, it is not easy. I understand that. I try to keep up with things because we do a lot of review shows, and it's like, when do I have time? Now I've got to look at verticals.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
true.
it's amazing, but let's see. Okay. What Wanda Brewer? Hi, Wanda. Haven't seen you in a while. What was your first impression of working with Casey Esser?
Great. Yeah, 100%. Most of the, I would
Even
say,
though we wanted to throw you through the.
no. At that point, that was actually the third time that I had worked with him.
Oh, third. Oh, wasn't the first. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, definitely not the first. So yeah, Casey and I have always gotten along. We're good buddies. Like, whenever we see each other, we're happy to see each other. I know he's far more busy than any of us. So, but yeah, he was great. He had already been pretty well established by the time that I had started working in the verticals.
On the verticals.
Yeah, and he had a lot of great advice for me. He was so helpful for a lot of reasons. A lot of the guys that were like the OGs, like the originals, like the Jared Harpers, Eric Gilmetts, Gassers, they were all so incredibly kind to me, and just had a great knowledge for how to navigate this industry and things like that. And so I really wanted to just open myself up to learning about this kind of stuff. So to better myself and to continue to try to do the best work that I can. And they were huge helps in that regard. So yeah, Casey was definitely one of those too. That was just like super helpful, super professional, and fun, and nice fun guy to work with, for sure.
Well, that's good. Well, I'm going to have a last question for till I go back to Marcia. How did you enjoy working on the set of Campus Rivals with all of those vertical actors in the scenes of the parties? I mean, when I first looked, I went, "Oh my!" I mean, Eric had warned us about it before it came out, but it was like it was just incredible.
Yeah,
With
no,
how many people would.
honest to God. So unfortunately, I have sad news about that. I was not. I was only there for one day. That
That's
was
yeah.
it. Yeah, and I was because Eric did ask me. He was like, "Hey man, like we got this campus rivals thing. Like you gotta get in on this." And I was like, I was working. I believe I was actually working out of the country at that time, so I was not. I was not able to be there for that whole thing. Um, but I was able to sneak on for one day, and then I had to jump right back into another project. So there was work conflict scheduling with that, but I wanted to be a part of that so badly. But when I was on for that one day, they were already on such a high, like they were loving every minute of it, and it was looked like it was so much fun. And getting to see everyone that I did get to see on that one day was so great. It was like being at like a fun party where all your friends were there. It was fun. It was great.
Did you know most of the actors at that time, or?
Yeah, I think at that point it's funny when you run into the other vertical actors. There's a weird thing that happens where you kind of have this moment of like, have we actually met in real life, or do we just know each other from being in this space and seeing you on my phone somehow,
Yeah.
in some way, shape, or form? So there is always that kind of like little bit of like, do we know each other? But yeah, I would say now it's getting to the point where we're all of us are at least have met each other at least once, and it's growing too, which is great. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
so I don't know. I mean, it's a small world, but it's not a small world. But then it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, so it's one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, when I found them the first time, it was back in October of 2024, and I started putting out feelers to try to, to get it going, to talk to vertical actors, and everybody was so busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was so busy, and so I kept looking, and I go, well, at that time, I only saw a few, and I go, I'll be finished with this in a couple of months, then we can go on to our other subjects.
Yeah.
Well, it's now, it will be a year,
Yeah.
February 2nd, since we started talking
That's
to
amazing.
live.
That's so cool.
And I mean, the first guy I talked to from Australia, and he said, "Oh, I'd love to do it, but I'm going on a shoot." And I went, "Oh, okay." And then he said, "I'm going to China."
Yeah.
And that was my first experience realizing that they film a lot of the English ones in China also.
Yeah, they do.
Not just the Chinese ones, which I did know about.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
And then by February, I said, oh, I found a little more people. I said, maybe it's going to be bigger than I thought. But then it's like over 30 apps. And I thought there was only 4 or 5.
Oh, goodness. Oh,
and back then, I mean, that's all I thought there was. And, and I just went, this is crazy. And it's great. It's great. Haven't we had a marvelous time, Marcia?
That's awesome.
Yeah, we've done
great.
over 100.
Yeah, we've done over 100 guests. We've done like 115 shows.
Oh, that's so cool.
But we've had over 100 guests.
Wow, congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, but we've had fun. But Marcia, on that note, I'm going back to you.
Well, thank you. Because I want to know, among other things, when your first role as an alpha in that world, did you already know about that kind of genre, or was that new? And how did you explore it?
Like the first werewolf one I ever did?
Yes.
So the first werewolf one I ever did was actually I played a villain with Jared Harper. And so that was interesting because it was still at that place where a lot of people didn't really know what was going on in general.
Right.
So I think I'm, being from such a a vast creative background, I think I was more open to it, I think, than I anticipated. I was very much like, okay, cool, so we're werewolves, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, and we don't, but we're not like turning into werewolves, and they're like, no. I'm like, cool, okay, cool. So I think that I just kind of I said let's just see what happens, and I went for it, and I think it really was a lot of fun. I noticed that as actors, we all we want to one of the most important things for us is to feel like we're expressing ourselves, and so I think the werewolf ones are have the opportunity for when we're growling and we're howling and we're
Mhm.
scratching people and we're running through fields and things like that. Like that's like those are ways of like fully expressing ourselves in that really epic fantasy kind of way. So for me, it was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think the I think I got more confused when they were like merging the genres, where it was like, oh, he's a werewolf, but now he's also a billionaire,
The
like
billionaire
and
werewolf.
the CEO.
Billionaire CEO. Yeah.
I was like, okay. I'm like, all right, we're just gonna keep adding those layers to it. Like,
Going
all
with
right,
it.
cool. Yeah, that's for sure.
Mhm. And so that kind of takes me into stunts because there's a
Mhm.
lot of physicality
Yeah.
in the the werewolf stories
Mhm.
and you already are a physical performer as well. So
Mm.
so that seemed to kind of it wasn't too hard for you to jump into the stunts.
No, no, not really. I mean, like it was. I think you know, like anything else, if there's some stuff where it really does require, someone has to come in and
Hmm.
be a stunt person for this and stuff like that. But the stunt coordinators that we work with on sets are incredibly professional and they're so great. And they're some of the most talented stunt workers that I've ever worked with. So I really give it up tip my hat to them for making all the stunts look and feel really good because it's a totally different. It's not like what we see when we just sit down and watch like a UFC fight where you just see two guys just going at it kind of thing. Like there's an elegance and there's a coordination behind it that needs to move with the camera, and that's something that I don't know if a lot of audience members really are aware of that.
Yeah.
Like just putting a camera in front of us and just seeing what happens. Like it almost looks silly when that happens. So you need that extra layer of a stunt team and stunt coordinators to make everything look cinematic and look really cool. So again, hats off to those guys for sure.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then a vertical like don't slap it, spin
Yeah.
it, where
Yeah.
you were a tennis pro.
Mhm.
Or do you play tennis or
Nope. Nope. Never played tennis before. Yeah, it was that was fun. We had a guy come in and then teach me how to play tennis and how to serve, how to volley and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was a good time too. That was really fun.
hmm
Yeah.
and I know we're probably getting toward the end, but I did see on your Instagram a picture of you in and you had the caption "Live long and prosper," and it
Mm.
looked like you were at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, yeah. That was
She
cool.
So,
knows that place.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
well,
So
I've been to San Diego Comic-Con many times.
that's so cool. That was actually my first time ever going to San Diego Comic Con.
Hmm.
I was working as a performer, like a live performer there. So they had like it was like separate from the con. There was the con, like the big building, but then on the outskirts they had all of these
Yes.
like, venues
Hmm.
and with like different there was like a Game of Thrones one, there was like a Star Wars one, and then I got hired as a character actor for the Star Trek venue, like that venue.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and so they
You
had
were at the.
me.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was a Vulcan, and they had me walking around in the full like official makeup of a Vulcan, and then they trained me on how to speak like a Vulcan, and so I had to interact with the guests at the venue as a Vulcan, and they were like, oh, like it was fun. It was like an improv
Mhm.
interactive experience. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was cool.
So, did they have the Paramount Lodge back then? That was like 2022 or three, right?
Yeah, I think that was kind of a I think it was the first Comic-Con that was post COVID. So I think that it was like the first one that they had done since like not doing
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
So I think that there were still a lot of like restrictions and things like that.
Yeah. I remember.
So I remember there was some weird kind of,
Hmm.
COVID stuff.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I don't know if it was quite up to the regular experience that you would have had now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was there at that. I do panels and things at San Diego Comic Con too.
Cool.
So
That's cool.
mostly at that year, I think it was in Manifest
Hmm.
and the Orville stuff like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But is that something that you would like to go back to as a fan or as a
Or a
guest?
panelist.
To be honest, if I would love to be one of the actors in one of those sci-fi movies or fantasy movies or superhero movies to do that. That of course is like the dream. I would love to have the Robert Downey Jr. pull off the Doctor Doom mask moment. That would just be like the most iconic thing in the
Mm.
world.
Mm,
But I think, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting. A lot of people ask me about cosplaying and
yeah,
conventions and things like that. And for me, so much of what my entire life has been is been dressing up as other people and
mm,
performing. So to do it in a scale where I have to do it in my spare time is something that I'm like I don't know because I've done this as my job since I was
mhm,
like 12. So like I don't quite know if I would want to do this on my free time kind of thing. I do very much respect the dedication and hard
mhm,
work that goes into cosplaying and going to
mhm,
the conventions.
yeah.
I think that I'd be interested in going to the Pokemon World Championships,
Oh,
to see
wow.
like the tournaments and to see the people compete and stuff like that.
Mhm,
Because I'm a huge Pokemon guy, I love Pokemon, so like yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to go to that. Yeah,
mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
I think it's in
So,
San
hey,
Francisco.
Michael, I think we got a natural here. We'll talk.
We'll
Hopefully,
Yeah.
you'll
talk.
stay with us
Yes.
after the
Stay
show.
with us
So,
after we go off the show, Laura.
but speaking about your adventures as yourself, and I like to ask a question
Mhm.
about reality shows. There's so many reality
Sure.
shows, The Survivor and Dancing with the Stars and
Yeah.
cooking shows and so if
Still
you had
Walkers United, you know.
Yeah.
if you had to choose a show to be on as yourself, what do you think
Oh.
you might choose?
I think I would want to actually keep it more simple. I think that doing a reality show in like a one that is in terms of like a Love Island or a Love Is Blind, I'm much better suited for someone watching that show as opposed to being on it. I think that I would it would be a train wreck to do that kind of stuff. But like for me specifically, I think that I would actually really like to do just one of the really fun like games, like the game show, like a Jeopardy or like a Wheel of Fortune or something like that.
Okay.
Like I think those are like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, like something fun like that. Those are the kind of reality shows that I grew up having fun watching.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do think that Family Feud would be a ton of fun, especially with my family. I think it would be pretty goofy, and it would be really. I would love to see how other people see like they view my family and they would be like, oh, that's why he is the way he is.
Mm.
Now we understand.
Yeah, yeah, because I think it's one of those things where like you spend 10 minutes with my family and it's like, oh,
It
okay,
all
this
becomes
makes
clear.
sense. Yeah, yeah.
That's
So in a very
wonderful.
good way, trust me. I'm not trying to throw them under the bus. But yeah. So one of those, if I was to do something in the
Mm-hmm.
world of reality, I think it would want to be
Mm-hmm.
something like that for sure.
Cool. Well, Mark, thank you for being with us. You have been super, super fun, and there's probably 1,000 more things that all of us want to know, but maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe next time. Of course. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go one or two questions in the chat room. I'm not going to be able to get to everybody, and I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
But Wanda's asked, well, she says, I would love to see Mark as a vampire and Casey as a werewolf.
That'd be cool.
I would love to see that.
That'd
And
be awesome.
So tell him that you want to do that and see if he'll write it for you or something.
I'll tell the vertical gods to make it happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, and this is kind of what we were talking about earlier with doing voiceover work. Tracy Kreider asked, what about doing an audio book? And what kind of book would you like to read if you did do one?
Yeah, I mean, I have heard that voice acting and then doing Audible is one of the easiest ways to kind of like niche your way in. I think that'd be really cool. I think I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it. I think that it would be really fun to do anything that has to do with. Actually, it'd be really fun. I just thought it'd be really fun to do like a mystery one. That'd be because I love the idea of I love murder mysteries. I think they're so cool. They're so fun. Every time I watch one, I'm always trying to figure it out and stuff like that. So I think that I would love to do an audiobook like that. I think that'd be fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask one more question. We've got about 2 minutes.
Sure.
And this is from Radcavronio Nova. What is your dream filming location? Either one you've been to or one you want to go to.
Easy answer for me. I've never been. I've always wanted to go. And I think that filming in New Zealand or Australia, particularly New Zealand, because that's where they film Lord of the Rings. I think that would, if I not only got to see this the environment that Lord of the Rings was in, but then also get to film there, I would cry. I would be an emotional blob the entire time. That would be an absolute dream of mine for sure.
Yeah, we had a vertical actor on Monday that is from New Zealand.
Oh.
And he was saying, he said he did a little bit in one of the one of the shows that was filmed down there.
Wow,
when he was really young. But it was that would be so cool.
That is cool. That's really cool. That's really cool.
That is cool. Well, everyone, we're gonna have to close up now because I made promises to people. But Mark, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And we'd love to have you back. And please do stay with us a few more minutes after we go off. Just so everybody knows, we are on our sister station, Trekking Across the Universe. We are doing 2 review shows right now with the new Game of Thrones spinoff, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and we're also doing the new Star Trek show, Starfleet Academy. So if you're interested in that, just go to ndbmedia.net and you can get on there. But everyone, take care, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.